Hey guys, what's going on? It is Dave here bringing you guys my intro version of the Started from the Bottom Season 2 series. So, as you guys know, this series is me and Alex Welshie working together, and our end goal is to accumulate 1 bill total wealth between the players. In the background, you're going to see me showing my NMZ coffers and my NMZ coffer, my miscellaneous coffer, and probably a couple other things. I think I'm setting up the KQ ropes and stuff too. It's just a background clip so you guys know that all that will be empty. And I'm going to start explaining the rules. I will leave a link to the Google Doc description of the rules that I wrote up below so you guys can read all the rules and how we are unlocking things if you still don't understand them after this, although I'm basically just reading them off. But I'm going to start now so you guys can try and get a feel for what the series is going to be all about. This is not the same as my Season 1. There are a lot of differences in this one. So, here's the rules. First of all items deemed rare must be unlocked as explained below. I'll get to that in a minute. But common items such as black d'hide, rune crossbows, dragon scimitars, and things like that are purchasable from the start of this season. Rule 2. Trading and bossing can only be done between the two players, and we cannot take donations or loans or borrow items from anyone else in our clan or any of our friends. So basically, everything that we get has to be achieved between the two of us. We can only boss solo or with the other person that we are doing a series with. So Alex and I can only boss together. We can't boss with anyone else. We can't use our alt accounts, etc., etc., etc. Items can and will be sold on the Grand Exchange. We are going to be using the Grand Exchange for this series, as during my Ali vs. Everything series, one of the main hindrances was that it took a very, very, very long time for me to collect supplies, and I really don't want that to be the entire point of the series. Maybe in the future we'll do a non-trading version of this, but for now, we are going to be trading between the two of us and purchasing and selling items on the Grand Exchange. Obviously, we won't use items until they're unlocked, as I'll explain in a minute. Rule number 3. Once an item or armor set is unlocked, it will remain unlocked forever for both players, and it cannot be relocked. Rule number 4. There must be no tradable items in the bank at the start of the series unless it is deemed that the item will be accounted for at all times. For example, in my bank, I have the Jar of Souls, which I'm going to keep just because I want to keep my jar collection. I want to try and, start my jar collection. I want to try and get a couple more. Also in my bank, this is something that I need to explain now so you guys understand. There are 2 bludgeon pieces from when I did Sire in my bank. Now obviously I'm not just going to drop or destroy 2 bludgeon pieces. What we're going to do is when we go to Sire, if I'm the one who gets the 3rd bludgeon piece and I finish that bludgeon, I'm just going to sell it, move 2/3 of whatever it sells for off the account, and then only keep 1/3 of what it sells for on the account. That way it's not cheating. It's basically like, okay, you got this amount. For example, say the bludgeon sells for 45 mil. I don't know what they're worth now. I would move 30 mil off the account and only keep the 15 mil corresponding to the single bludgeon piece that I got as a drop. Alright, next rule, and the final rule that I've written down. NMZ and miscellaneous coffers must be emptied prior to the start of the series. Slayer points may be kept for skips and blocks, or in my case, task extensions, buying the herb bag, etc., etc., etc. Because we want to progress the series more quickly, we want to get more boss tasks, and we want to be able to make the series as interesting as we possibly can. Alright, now earlier I mentioned unlocks, and this is how it's going to work. The clip in the background, by the way, will eventually change to me being at the Grand Exchange, selling stuff and showing you guys my empty bank. So, yeah, that'll happen eventually, but I don't know if I'll be able to stop. I'll just keep going. Okay, this is how things are going to be unlocked in our series. In order to unlock a particular item, one of the participating players in this series, i.e. me or Alex, must receive some sort of drop from a particular boss to unlock the remaining drops from that boss. Once the drop is unlocked, the players can freely purchase anything unlocked by that boss via the Grand Exchange. For example, say we want some Guthans. So what we have to do, we have to go to Barrows. We have to do Barrows until one of us gets a piece of Guthans. Once we get that piece of Guthans, the entire set is unlocked, and we can purchase the rest from the Grand Exchange if we have the money to do so, and it is unlocked for both players, and we can freely use it for the rest of the series. Same goes for Variks and Carols, etc. We decided to make this one separate because Barrows is a pretty big deal, so if we want to use Carols, we have to get a piece of Carols before we can buy the rest of it. If we want to use Variks, we have to get a piece of Variks before we buy the rest of it. Obviously, we can stay in camp until we get the whole set, but it's not very efficient. Example number 2. Say we decide between the two of us, you know what, we want an SGS. An SGS is a great item. That's what we want to start getting so we can share that between the two of us. Okay. We have to go to Sardome and God Wars to unlock it. We go to Sardome and God Wars, and we get a Sardome sword drop. Now, obviously, this isn't an SGS. It's not Sar Hilt. But since we did get a drop from Commander Ziliana, the remaining drops from Commander Ziliana, the ACB, and the Sar Hilt will be unlocked to both of us. If that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. You can read what I wrote below, but I feel like that was explained pretty well. Another example, say, we want tassets. We have to go to Bandos and get any Bandos-specific drop, like Bandos Hilt, Bandos Boots, Bandos Chestplate, or Bandos Tassets to unlock the remaining Bandos drops. Now, here's some that aren't as specific that I want to cover, so you guys are aware. And in the background, you can see me unimbuing all my stuff and crying, because I also didn't realize you actually get points back now. I used to not get points back last time I started a series like this. Maybe not last time, but a couple times ago. Okay, so Wildy Boss Rings. Okay, so how this is going to work is if we get any particular Wildy Boss Ring, for example, we get the ring from Venenatis, we will unlock the Ring of the Gods, as well as the one from Callisto. So it's not like we have to get all those specifically, but we kind of wanted to group that together to make it a little bit easier. Dragon Pick, if we decide for some reason we need a Dragon Pick in the series, then we have to get the Dragon Pick as a drop from anything that drops it. DK Rings. This will be all available upon the drop of any particular ring, obviously excluding the Ring of Life. So if we get a Warrior Ring, we can now go and buy Berserker Rings and Archer Rings if we want them. Alright, one more thing. Sire drops. Unsired isn't going to unlock all the drops. If we want a Bludgeon, we have to obtain the specific Bludgeon piece. And if we want a Fire Cape, one of the two of us has to kill Jad. Hang on, I actually just realized that my video the clips I have is not long enough. You can see me trading all the money off right now. So I'm just going to put the series video while I finish talking and explaining the rest of the rules. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry for that. I had to add this on there. I didn't think I'd have to actually talk this long. Okay, as I was saying, Sire drops. The Unsired does not unlock all the drops from Sire. If we want a Bludgeon, we have to obtain a Bludgeon piece from the Unsired. That's pretty much the only thing we're going to want from Sire. I don't really ever see us needing an Abyssal Dagger for any reason. But if we get one, we unlock it, if that ever becomes a thing. A Fire Cape. One of the players has to kill Jad. This will probably happen once we get a Jad task. Other than that, I really don't see us, we're going to go out of our way to get it at some point. Clue Scroll items, we decided that all Clue Scroll items will just be purchasable without unlocks, like the Bandos D'hide and things like that, because otherwise it would be just a huge hassle and a huge list of stuff to do, and we really didn't want to do it like that. Alright, now one more thing that I want to explain, cheat items. Now there's certain items that are really just out of the question for us to camp for, like 1 in 10k drops and things like that. So sorry, I cracked my finger. We really didn't want to have to go and camp for a Dragon Warhammer. What we decided is we're just going to have each player gets to pick a cheat item. These cheat items get unlocked when we have a shared wealth of 100 mil, and we both picked one item that we thought would be helpful to the series. In order to unlock it, like I said, we have to have a shared wealth of 100 mil, and it will be purchased. We have to purchase the item still from the Grand Exchange. We don't just get given to us. We have to purchase it still, and our cheat items cannot be changed no matter what, even if we receive the cheat item as a crazy, insanely lucky drop. Had to extend this thing again. I didn't think I would have to talk this long. I'm not used to actually having to do that. Okay, so the cheat items that we chose. I chose a Spectral Spirit Shield. So, meaning when we get 100 mil, if we decide, Spectral is a good purchase, we can save up and buy a Spectral. Or we can both use it. Obviously, we can both have a Spectral. It's not just we can have one between the two of us. We can both have one, but that's kind of pointless to buy too. Alex's cheat item is the Dragon Warhammer. So basically, meaning on this series, we are not going to be able to use a DFS unless by some crazy lucky chance we get a Draconic Visage drop, which obviously isn't very likely, but it could happen. So that means we kind of just have to make do with Crystal Shields and things like that until we unlock the cheat item of a Spectral Shield. But yeah, that's going to be kind of rough. Meaning when we go to Arma, it's probably best for us to try and get an Odium Ward or unlock Odium Ward instead of going out of our way to try and get a Visage for a DFS. Other things that I thought are mentioned that aren't mentioned yet that I should really think about. Untradables that we really don't want to get rid of, like Void and Rune Pouches. Rune Pouch we're not going to be allowed to use until we have an accumulated 10 mil wealth, because it's really a minuscule item and doesn't do too much to affect the series. And then something that's pretty big is Void and God Books. We're waiting to have these unlocked until we have 50 mil shared wealth between the two of us, because obviously we don't want to just start the series and immediately be able to just camp Zora, and that'd just be too easy. Although we still do have to unlock the Trident at the beginning in order to do that. But regardless, Void and God Books are not unlockable until we have 50 mil shared wealth. How are wealth displays going to be done? That's another interesting one. So, all wealth displays have to be done in a single trade between the two participating players. So, if Alex and I have guthans and things like that that we want to put into our price check, wealth check, whatever you want to call it, we have to fix our guthans to be able to put it in a trade so we can show our wealth between the two of us. Because otherwise, it's kind of just annoying. I want to be able to see it all on one screen. You guys can see it all on one screen. So no matter whose video you're watching it from, you guys will be able to see it, and it'll be, proof. So I want to clarify a few things as well. Since I am finishing school still, I still have finals and things like that. It might be another week before we actually release the first episode of this series. And both players will be releasing different perspectives. So keep that in mind. Make sure you watch both. There's going to be some overlap when we do group bossing and things like that. But especially at the start, there's going to be some crazy differences. I mean, like, I have a Kraken task, so I'm probably going to be the one who goes and tries to unlock the Trident for us at the beginning. Alex is going to be doing more money making, more than likely. So make sure you guys watch both perspectives, and sub Alex Welshie. His description will be below. Just make sure you check out his videos as much as you watch mine. And I'm very excited for this series. I hope you guys are as well. And, you better be. I'm going to be putting a shitload of time into this series. I hope you guys are pumped. I just know that I am, and I think this series has a lot of interesting twists on it that my other series have had as well, and those have been extremely successful, and you guys have liked them. So, I guess I'll see you guys in episode 1. Peace out. Have a nice day, and make sure you check out Twitch, because I'm going to be streaming a lot during the summer as well, so make sure you follow that as well. Description should be below. I don't know if I still have it there or not, but peace!